What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night. Time to talk some football. You guys know me. I'm the loudmouth of the South, SAJ. I'm definitely sporting my beautiful Brahma's replica helmet from the End Zone Helmet and Painting. That's our boy Sol Rock Cardenas. If you're looking for some good merch at reasonable prices and not having to pay $18 million for a helmet that you can't get otherwise, anyways. These are the people you're going to want to reach out to. And of course, I'm coming to you from a repeat classic. Absolutely love this place, but I'm coming to you from Pancho's Mexican Buffet Studios tonight.
Ooh, good one. You know what? That one's worth repeating, man. That was such a good place. Uh, what is up? I am BD. You know what? Let me look at my list here that I got. You know, today I'm gonna come from the Handy Andy Studios.
Nice. Dude, we haven't had Handy Andy's here in like 1,000 years,
I
man.
know, I know.
I miss those. Shout out to Bobby Otten, first of all, primary source for all things arena football. And we're definitely going to be citing some stuff that he sent over today. So, Bobby, thank you. And to our friends over Pro Arena Talk, thank you guys also for everything you do. Of course, Mike G and Alternative Football Network for all the alternative football information they give us, specifically about the Brahmas and the UFL in general, but also some good news with the NFL and things like that. We've got a jam-packed show tonight, lots to talk about. So I really don't want to hold us back with too many things. So real quick, shout out to W Energy Drink, the official sponsor of Texans Talking Football. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. Our discount code is on our schedule, or on our Facebook page. So go check it out. Go get you some W Energy Drink. Think you guys would actually like it. So let's get started. Brian, I'm going to put you on the hot seat again tonight. That way I can do some sharing while you're talking. But Cowboys Texans, what arguably should be a grudge match because it's a Texas game, right? Didn't turn out to be such a grudge match, did it? What happened, bro?
I mean, you know, I don't know. Did you watch Arrested Development back in the day?
Well, a long time ago I did, yeah.
So there's a scene, and it's a it's a pretty popular GIF that you'll see around, and
If
it,
it's not a
what
GIF,
it's a GIF. That's what the
it's a
creator said. It's a GIF. It's a GIF. Damn it! All right,
it's a GIF, not
it's
a
not a
GIF.
GIF. No, no, it is a GIF. Once again, the man who created it said that it's a GIF. So
No, he
all
said he
you
was eating
all
some
you
GIF
GIF
peanut
people can
butter.
suck it. All right. So
Whatever.
so there's a scene where Michael opens the fridge door, and there's a sandwich bag that says like dead pigeon on it or something, and he opens it up, and it's a dead pigeon, and he says, well, I didn't know what else to expect. And I mean, that's pretty much how Cowboys fans feel right now. We're looking at our team, we're seeing a dead pigeon, and we're like, I don't know, I didn't know what I expected. I mean, what else are we gonna get? You've got quarterback. I mean, as much as I can't stand him, he is the best quarterback on the roster. He's done for the year. You've got no offensive line. You've got defense beat to hell. You've got no run game. You got receivers that don't want to run through contact. You've got a coach that is too busy looking at his Waffle House menu to actually call plays. You got
Love that one.
you've got a freaking owner who wants to be GM, who wants to be coach, who's making all the plays for the team. Like, what do you expect? I'm not, at this point, I don't even care anymore. Like we're done for the season. We're gonna suck, and we get a high draft pick, and hopefully, Jerry doesn't screw that up. But
Are you sure that that's not going to happen? Because let's be
no,
honest,
I
there's
have
not.
I have no confidence whatsoever in any member of that team or organization. All right, none at all.
So, would it be possible to have a vote of no confidence in the owner and restrict?
God, I wish. You know, I mean, and if you saw anybody saw the Facebook post on our page, which I posted it, but it's Cowboys fans when they hear that the Jets fired their coach and their GM, and it's Jesus. I've seen what you've done for others, and I want that for me. That's what we want. We want we want a new coach. We want a GM, not a new GM. We want a GM. All right, because you know what, Stephen Jones, he ain't the GM. Maybe in title, but everybody knows it's Jera, and he sucks at GM. So
I don't disagree. I really wish that there was something that I could say to ease your pain. But
that's what this is for.
I mean, in all truthfulness, though, it wasn't like you were going up against a slack team either, and you knew it was going to be a bit of a dogfight. So
I mean,
you can't.
it's a big rivalry. Houston is a good team. They've struggled to find themselves. Had some issues with their line. Stroud getting sacked. Not having a lot of time back there. They got Nico Collins back, which was good for Houston. Bad for my fantasy. Bad for the fantasy week for me. But Houston is a good team. So I had no doubt that the Cowboys were going to lose this game. So
yeah, and Mike G 100%.
Yeah.
That was good.
And to just to add insult to injury, like, because this season hasn't been just an absolute S show, just in general. We open up the damn roof for the first time in 2 years, and the damn thing starts falling apart and it's dropping crap onto the field. Now, I would have been perfectly fine with that if one of those pieces would have happened to fall on Jerry, but it didn't happen. So, what else can go wrong?
It should have fallen on McCarthy because he would have probably thought it was some Waffle House hash browns or something and just chowed down.
Maybe, but
look, we've talked about it. There is a reason why Mike McCarthy is not in Green Bay anymore. Okay. I don't know why Jerry Jones thought picking up McCarthy would be a good idea for this team, but it has been an epic failure. You don't have an Aaron Rodgers. You don't have an Aaron Jones. You don't have any of these, Devontae Adams. What's up, man? But you don't have any of these key pieces that you need. You've got Prescott, who is an on-the-bubble quarterback pretty much 24/7. You never know what you're going to get, whether it's going to be,
that's
MVP quarterback.
Regular season Prescott is a good quarterback. Playoff Prescott is a whole different story. But
I'll give you that.
Cowboys have had one of the best offenses in the league up until this year. The last few years, one of the highest scoring offenses, one of the most yards. Defense has been phenomenal. No, it has been. Like, it's been one of the best defenses in the league. Even takeaways, sacks. Micah Parsons, he's top 3 best defender in the league, and a lot of his stats don't show it, but because he was getting double teamed most of the time. So it's McCarthy's had the team. The last 2 years, he's had a squad that he could take to the Super Bowl. However, he sucks. He, just that he doesn't make his adjustments. He, has his game plan or whatever, and when he comes in and gets, punched in the mouth, he doesn't know how to adjust to it. And we've seen that this year. I saw a stat in the game last night. This is the 5th or 6th straight game. I believe it's the 6th straight game, because going back to, I guess, the Green Bay game last year, that the Cowboys have been down 20 points at home. 6 straight games, they've been down 20 points at home. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely uncalled for. Absolutely, I don't know. But why McCarthy is still there? No clue.
So what's the over under right now in Vegas to McCarthy finishing out the season?
I mean, if he does finish out the season, then Jerry's as dumb as people say he is. So, dude, you know what? Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Dude,
The Saints in that one game have scored more touchdowns in the Jerry world than the Cowboys have all season long. I saw that stat earlier today. Absolutely ridiculous. But Jerry wants to go on and say that oh the reports that McCarthy has lost the room or blown out of proportion or whatever he said. No, it's not. He's lost the room. He's lost the team. He's lost everything. And if he hasn't lost the owner, then that says more about the owner than it does about the coach.
yep. The only thing McCarthy hasn't lost is his Denny's playbook menu. That's it.
That's it.
But everything else, man, he's just, dude, he is done. He is so done. And I at this point, honestly, man, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I am a Cowboys fan sympathizer. I feel so bad for you guys that you're having to suffer through this, knowing full well what the problem is, knowing full well that your owner will not relinquish control of the team, and knowing full well that you're stuck with this dude for as long as Papa Jerry wants you guys to have him. And that's just brutal.
Yeah.
You know what else is brutal? Losing at home by a fingertip. And that's my Green Bay Packers, right? We knew it was going to be a rough game. It's a divisional game, it's always going to be tough. But my $1 million quarterback Jordan Love, he didn't do bad. I gotta show
Oh
this,
yeah.
right? And I don't know why Jeremy yapping, man. We'll get to you in a bit.
So,
Okay.
Jeremy, it just any children, I just want y'all to look away. Jeremy.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
I got my eyes itching, Jeremy.
Yep. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
He came in just to bash all of you Cowboy fans.
You know what?
If
He did that last week too. So,
isn't that the sign of a true friend? I mean, really. So, anyways, Green Bay had a pretty solid game overall. Chicago's defense was a little bit more than I think what we were expecting going into that game, right? Love went 13-17, 261, one touchdown, one interception. And it was it was bad. He should not have thrown that ball. He should have seen that. And it was brutal. Okay. But what is more concerning to me, look, we're gonna have a whole NFC South fight here while we're trying to talk about the NFC North, who's dominating the NFL, by the way.
Jeremy, once
Jacobs
again,
only went off for.
Jeremy, you're lucky you're an Aggies fan. All right, that's your only saving grace.
Yep.
Aggies
and Brahmas.
That's it.
Aggies and Brahmas. So, yeah, so he's okay.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, we'll let him speak his trash, but it's fine. Again, here's what is concerning me. We mortgaged the farm on Josh Jacobs. He got 76 yards, right? He's averaging 4.22 yards per rush. Not bad, right? You normally would not complain about that. But the guy we let go over in who's now over in Minnesota is absolutely slamming it. And it's like, did we make the right choice? We put a bunch of money on Love, who has been injured twice and could have been potential season-ending injuries. And we're struggling against a team like the Bears, right? Damn, that's brutal.
You know what? You're probably not wrong because I'll probably be falling asleep during that game too. So,
yep, and that's before you even eat the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a sportscaster. I can't remember who said it. They're saying that there is a big difference in the gameplay when Watson is in versus when he's out. So the problem is, Watson has been struggling with injuries throughout the season. and it's our biggest weapon, our tight end, Tucker Kraft, was not involved. I mean, he was in the game. No targets, or I'm sorry, one target, no
He was
reception.
targeted once, but yeah, 0 receptions. I'm looking at the stats, and I mean, Love had 13 completions for 260 yards. I mean, Watson had 4 for 150. What I mean,
One
what was
touchdown.
there? Obviously, there was 1 or 2 big plays, but
Oh yeah, no, Watson was solid, dude. Watson was 4 targets and 4 receptions.
yeah.
So everything that was thrown to him was caught. Um,
But I mean, you tell me
Jacobs.
13 for 261. There had to have been quite a few big plays in that game.
Oh yeah, yeah. There were a couple of pretty huge plays. We caught Chicago napping a couple of times. Um, but when they took the lead, it was like, oh, this is not necessarily looking so good. So we went into the half. We were down 10-7, right?
Yeah.
Third quarter, we scored 7, they scored 9. It's like the game is kind of walking away from us. And it was like, ooh, this, may not end well, and we may lose our dominant streak. Now, keep in mind, I mean, we're talking about teams that have faced each other over 800 times. Okay. There's some history there. There's some bad blood there.
Y'all really,
And
y'all haven't played each other that many times.
look it up.
I'm
Look it
looking it
up.
up right now.
Look it up.
You can keep talking while I look it up.
Okay. But then we had the fourth quarter. I'm trying to look where exactly it was so we can get the the final 2 field goals, right? Oh no, we got a touchdown, and I guess they went for a 2-point conversion that did not work. Uh, and yeah, 2-point conversion failed. Jacobs rushed to the left and got swallowed up, which would have prevented Chicago from being able to uh, score a field goal like they tried to do and get the win, right? That did not work out for us. But we managed to keep them in field, just at the edge of field goal range, basically. And that's when the we managed to block and it was Santos, not our Santos, but it was Santos. Uh, see, boom, 300 times. How much was
Okay.
it?
So the actual number, including playoffs, is 211 times.
That's a damn lie.
Met in the playoffs twice, which is really that surprises me. They've only met in the playoffs twice, 1941 and 2010. And so the Packers hold the series lead 108-95 with 6 ties. So do your math. It's 211 games.
No, I'm adding another 600 in there just for fun.
You're adding
that's
all
what
the
we
games
do.
where you think about the Bears while you're playing.
Yes, or how
Man,
much
if
we hate
this
the
would
Bears.
have been the Bears, we would have kicked their ass.
Yep. Oh, that definitely happened in the 80s. Ain't gonna lie about that. Anyways, fine. 200 games, whatever. The point being, this almost turned out to be another one of those Chicago wins, but we managed to. Ouch. Chris is right. That's 2010. I'm surprised he remembers that far back. I didn't even know he was around then.
Dude, he was in
But
diapers at that time. Somebody had to tell him about that game.
I'm sure. He was probably, coloring in his Green Bay coloring book, and he read that stat somewhere. Anyways, I'm sitting there ripping on him. KJ,
So
it sounds like it goes all the way back.
That's going back to 1921. So yeah, way
Well,
before the merger.
right. And there were teams before that. Because remember, I mean, the Packers go back to what, 1909, I think it is, or something. And so
Yeah.
you had the original football team, which was not the Chicago Bears, but in fact the Chicago Cardinals, who eventually became the Arizona Cardinals. And so there's some history there too that you guys probably didn't know about, which is fine. I mean,
So
it's okay. I understand you expansion teams don't care about anything before you came along. That's okay. I can
is this
accept that.
the Bears have not
Uh,
beaten the Packers since December of 2018.
It's been a minute. It has been a
Holy
minute.
crap, dude.
It has been a minute. And I wish we could say that about the rest of the NFC North, but no, they've been catching up to us. So, anyways, we stopped the play, fingertip block, managed to throw it off course. They don't get the extra point. Here's what I love about Chicago, and I think they've already done this once before this year. They are challenging that call, saying it was an illegal maneuver, that we lined up on the center, and that should have been called. If you go back and watch the play, first of all, I don't understand what the long snapper was thinking, but he snapped the ball and stayed down. Now, the center is protected by NFL rules for like
Yeah.
a second to allow him to get up and prepare to engage, right? He snapped the ball and stayed down. Our guys crashed the A gap, pushed the left side out of the way, and came in through that gap. And that's how they got the block. That's not illegal in the NFL. But Chicago wants us or wants that reviewed and wants the game overturned. Okay.
But
Or at least an
okay,
opportunity.
you're talking about the protests that they filed with the league.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. You said challenge. I was thinking like in-game
I'm
challenge.
sorry. Protest.
Okay.
Protest.
Okay.
Protest. Yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, didn't they also do this once before this year?
No. Who did it? It wasn't Minnesota, but it was the week after the Minnesota game. You know what? No, it was Chicago because it was the Hail Mary against Washington. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Because they were busy doing all this, right? And that one guy was supposed to be covering his assignment, and instead he's jaw jacking with the fans.
Yeah,
and they
jaw
got burnt.
jacking with some idiot fans that was probably like you and me in the crowd, just probably giving it back to them because hey, that's what we do. But
yep, and he got smoked. So, anyways, all that to say that every NFC North team minus Chicago moves ahead. Chicago stays where they're at, and the NFC North just keeps rolling on. Now, I joke about the NFC North dominating right now. It is true that we are winning, right? And we're winning most of the challenges that we're coming up against. But I think with Green Bay, I mean, they're looking okay. But I don't think we should necessarily be included in that conversation. And we definitely are not the NFC North like the NFC North was back in the 90s and maybe even into the early 2000s.
I mean,
but
y'all aren't far from that, man. I mean, you got Detroit at 9-1, Minnesota's at 8-2, and I mean a couple of those have been real close. I mean, you guys are third in your division at 7-3. I mean, that's just kind of a quick look at all the standings. That's the best record of all the divisions. So
okay,
I mean,
true, but hang on, right? We're talking about the schedules and everything like that. Let's look at who Green Bay's played. Okay. In the regular season, we played the Colts and won in that one. We played the Titans and won at that one. We were close with Minnesota, but we lost that game. We beat the Rams, and then we beat the Cardinals. We actually beat the Texans. We beat the Jaguars. I mean, right. We lost to Detroit, and then we won against and then we won against the Bears.
Who hasn't?
The rest of the season, right. The rest of the season we've got the Dolphins, we've got the Sea Chickens, we've got New Orleans, and we've got the Bears again. That's 4 potential more wins with mediocre teams. So it's not like we've got this incredibly killer schedule. Okay? So right here, Chris has got it right. We cannot play like that. But that's the way they play. So, I mean, we'd have to do a lot of changing. We'd have to do some major overhauling. And that's not to say that our defense is horrible or anything like that. Our defense is actually pretty solid. But the X factor is kind of our offense right now because, Jordan Love had a great game this game. but he made some boneheaded moves last game. Um, and Chris, you're right. I mean, that could potentially be 5 with us playing uh, yeah, San Fran. But we played San Fran, and how does that always work out for us? Not so good.
San Francisco's been off this year, though. I mean, I think they're still going to get it together, but you know,
And that could be, but we do not have good luck against San Fran. They've rolled us several times.
yeah,
So, anyways, looking around the rest of the league, we were talking about this last week, some of the good games. That Washington Philadelphia game did not exactly turn out quite the way we thought it would. I thought it'd be a little bit closer.
yeah. I
But
you know I picked Philadelphia to win. I had one of my leagues. I had Washington's defense. I decided not to play them. I did play Philly's defense in another league. I kind of felt that this is how that game was going to go. That just Philly was kind of going to dominate them, and it it ended up happening. So I mean, as much as dominating as an 8-point win could be, but I don't really think at any point in the game did you think the Commanders were like, oh yeah, they can come back. It always felt like Philly was ahead of them at all times.
yeah, for the most part, I mean, from the highlights and stuff that I watched, it didn't look like Washington ever had an opportunity where they could change momentum. But still, I mean, it's Washington. It's not like they're a slouch team either.
It's not. No, and
Um,
I mean, the division rivals are always, those are always fun games, especially, I mean, you guys know it with y'all's division, but I mean, NFC East, we hate all the other teams just as much as you guys do.
yep. So looking around the rest of the league, Lions obviously destroyed Jacksonville, and I feel
Dude,
bad for them.
46
So
points. That was their franchise high for like the biggest loss they've ever had.
yeah,
I mean, I'm surprised as hell. I'm surprised McCarthy still has a job. I'm even more surprised that Peterson still has a job. I'm shocked that he hasn't been fired yet.
yeah. Elsewhere around the league, that Baltimore Pittsburgh game turned out to be pretty good, like we thought. Definitely a
Yeah,
lot
that was
lower.
that was that was a fun game to watch. And oh man, they were. Did you get to watch that game, or did you just see kind of highlights of it?
No, just highlights. I didn't get a chance to watch that game.
They were. I mean, it was everything you want a Ravens Steelers game to be. They were pushing and shoving and jawing and getting in each other's faces after every single play. Oh, it was fantastic. I loved watching it.
Yeah. No big surprise. Indianapolis knocked off New York, but that was
A
a
lot
pretty
closer
close game also.
than a real close game. So
Yeah. What
I'll tell you what
really
surprised
surprised
me
me,
was Denver beating the Falcons like they did, 38-6.
yeah,
I mean, as many points as Atlanta has put up this season for a lot of their games, for them to only score 6 points is crazy.
yeah. The other one that really surprised me was the Chiefs and Bills game. I knew it was going to be a battle, but man, I watched that last half and the Bills just took off,
They did.
man.
I
I
picked the
was like,
Bills to win that
"Oh my
game.
god."
The Chiefs have they've been kind of teetering on a loss for a bunch of games now. And I kind of, I thought the Bills were going to take it, but that was a good game. I mean, it always is in the regular season. So
Yeah. Uh so I wonder what this is
Bengals
going to do to
Chargers was a good game. The Sunday night football game, that was really enjoyable to watch. And then the Seahawks and 49ers, like I said earlier, San Francisco's looked off this year so far. They're only 5-5. And I don't know. I've been expecting them to get it together for the last 3 weeks now, and they just seem kind of discombobulated. So who knows? I kind of expect them to be one of the teams in the NFC that's kind of towards the top by the end of the season, but they have to get something together to see.
They better hurry up, man. We're already in week 11.
Yeah.
Well, we just finished week 11. So, pretty scary thought. right? That we're almost done
That's
with the
crazy.
NFL already.
We're going into week 12. So there's only
Yeah.
like 6 more games.
Yep. So there should be some great games this next week. Let me bring up the schedule. It looks like Minnesota is going to tear through Chicago. Houston's got Tennessee. Detroit's got Indianapolis. So, 3 wins right there. The 3 top tier teams. Dallas has Washington. That's a division rivalry game.
Yeah.
And we already saw what happened. Green Bay's got Frisco, but it's at home, so that could potentially be a good game.
Yeah.
And I don't really see any more that necessarily stand out. Kansas City's got Carolina, and I feel really bad. I feel really bad for Carolina.
Dude,
Brett,
yeah.
I
Oh
got your
yeah.
message. Yeah.
Kansas City coming in after that loss to the Bills. I mean, the
Oh, it's
Panthers
going
are
to be nasty.
gonna get ran over. Watch freaking Carolina come back and win the game.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. That would be incredible, man. That would be incredible. But okay, so some great NFL games. Let's go ahead and transition over to college football. We'll try and hit the important highlights. I think one of which was your precious stinking Aggies. They didn't even give poor New Mexico State a chance, dude.
Nope. I mean, I do like the late season bye weeks, that you play for your non-conference games. Yeah, this one, I'm actually pissed off at the Aggies for letting them get a field goal. That's some bull crap. It should have been 0 points. But I mean, Reed, played, had a couple touchdowns. I think he maybe played one series in the second half. Wegman played after that. And so it was kind of one of those games you just kind of a little tune-up game.
Yeah.
They got it was good going into, you got 2 more games, but you got this week at Auburn, at Auburn, and Aggie's got to be careful not to look past them. Auburn can be a dangerous team, especially at home. And Aggie's maybe looking to next week against the Longhorns. So if I mean, Aggie's got a chance to the SEC championship. They got to win out, but they can't look past Auburn this week. So
Wow. Nice.
Dude, you know what? I tell you, I was watching that game and I thought y'all were going to have it. And then that fourth quarter happened and Florida came back and just.
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised, looking back, because I didn't get to watch too much college ball this weekend. Looking back at the Texas and Arkansas game, I mean, Arkansas is not necessarily a slouch team. That game was a heck of a lot closer than I thought it would be. For the number 3 ranked Texas offense, that game should have been much bigger. A 10-point win, not so much. So who knows what was going on there? Maybe it was just the fact that Arkansas is an overlooked team. Maybe they're
Arkansas
playing with pride on the line.
not a bad team. They they lost to the Aggies. They're 3-4 in the SEC. But they, just like damn near every other SEC team, they fight hard. And so that's why you don't see too many blowouts in these games, in these SEC games, just because even if it's a UT and a Arkansas, Arkansas is going to fight with every bit of what they've got. So
yeah. Elsewhere in college football, I was really surprised that Kansas beat BYU. Wow.
Yeah.
Right here for a buyout. Let's go. I mean, we did net that really big or Texas did net that really big contract. So they're not gonna
I mean, A&M's paying $76 million, I think, for Jimbo from last year. So yeah, you're gonna have to go to some other schools, man. We're tapped out.
Yep. Uh, so again, not anything really surprising across college football.
Like I said,
As
Kansas and BYU was surprising. Obviously, the number 6 team. Um,
right.
Oregon, Wisconsin, that game was really close. Oregon kind of squeaked it out at the end there. Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, that was a good game. Glad Georgia won. I was rooting for them because it knocked Tennessee out of the one-loss SEC teams. So now it's
Yeah.
just UT and A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of I'm pushing for that final game to be who goes to the SEC championship. So that Tennessee loss helped the Aggies out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, talking about teams going to the championships, UTSA has securely secured their spot in the middle of the American Conference. They're number 6, sitting at 5-5, 3-3 in conference play. They actually had a decisive win against North
I'll
Texas,
say y'all
and
beat
I was
North
really
Texas
surprised
by
about that.
21 points, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really good game. The thing that was weird though is it was a Friday night game.
Yeah.
And that was the same night as the Tyson fight, which I apologize to anybody who had suffered through that miserable thing. Had they buffered through the Tyson fight, it would have been perfectly fine. All the rest of them were actually good fights. Well, that first one wasn't so great.
Oh, that first one
Um,
sucked, but the two middle ones were great fights. I mean,
Dude, those
the
are solid,
decisions
and
the
both called
decisions were
wrong.
both wrong.
Yes,
The Barrios, the guy from San Antonio, in the split decision one, he should have won. He destroyed, and then
yes,
Serrano in the second fight or the third fight, she absolutely destroyed that Irish chick, and
yes,
the fact that they called it for
yes.
the other girl was ridiculous.
Yeah, that part was just funky. But then you kind of knew something was off at the beginning of the night when they were calling those fights wrong. And then you get to the Tyson fight and he's doing what he normally does and then doesn't take his shots. It's like, oh dude, like
Yeah.
I fought the internet for this. Come on, this is horrible. Anyways, we're not here to talk about boxing. What we can talk about though is Incarnate Word absolutely destroying the Southland Conference. They're 9-2, 6-0 in division play, and pretty much unstoppable, man. Their closest competition is Southeast Louisiana at 6-5, so they're going to roll on and just keep on destroying. We talked last week about the headstand heard around the world and how the NFL was copying it.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the UIW Cardinals, man. You guys keep kicking tail and taking names, and we'll be rooting for you in whatever conference championship game you guys are going to wind up in. Meanwhile, Texas State is doing really well in the Sun Belt as well. Wait, hang on. Yeah, the Sun Belt. I got them confused there for a second. They are 6-4 overall, so they are tied essentially for third. They're second in the Sun Belt West, but they're tied with Georgia Southern in Sun Belt East, and identical records. Um, but it's so they should potentially be moving on to something. And I was gonna look something else up real quick, and I completely forgot to, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, there was just that Southwest Texas game, man. They were definitely in charge that whole entire game. They played Southern Miss, beat them 58-3. Oh hey, I know it's Rosa. What's up, Rosa? That's my girl's basically grandmother. She helped babysit all three of the girls while their mom and I were working. So she's like family. I haven't seen her in a while.
Oh,
So it's good
nice.
to see her pop up. Anyways, we're doing the whole trip down memory lane thing here. Um, oh, and she is definitely a Longhorns fan, so I know she's super happy
All right.
about
Nobody's
the fact
perfect.
that. Ouch, that
Thanks
is
for
so
joining
rude.
us, anyways.
That's so rude. So rude. Anyways, Texas is looking good, so they should make a playoff bracket somewhere, and so we're happy for them. We'll put it that way. But I'd still much rather see my UTSA Roadrunners, kick and tail. But at least Texas is doing well, so there's something I can lean back on. Um, Now, the big news that I wanted to get to, and again, thanks to Bobby for sharing this information with us. First and foremost, we were talking about last week what's potentially going to happen with Corpus Christi Tritons. Well, folks, they
Yeah.
found a home, and it is a big
Surprising.
home.
Yeah.
Okay. So super excited to announce that it's already been announced. But again, thanks to Bobby for sharing this to us as soon as the news story broke. Uh, Corpus Christi Tritons are joining the Arena Football One League. And this is going to be huge because, first of all, they're playing in what could potentially be a rival to the IFL League. Secondly, they have a schedule that is very favorable to the Corpus Christi Tritons. They're not playing some of the bigger teams, as Bobby pointed out earlier. They're not playing what did Bobby say? Billings and some of the other powerhouses from the AF1. So they potentially could be looking at a fairly easy, schedule to get to the playoffs. I'm sorry, it was Salina, Wichita, and Southwest Kansas that they're repeating against, but they're not playing Arizona, Albany, and they're only playing Billings once. Um, Robert Rankin, I'm gonna let you get away with that only because you have one more win, but you just wait till we meet up again, son. All right, we're taking that number 2 spot from you guys, even though you guys will always be number 2 in the league. Um, anyways, the playoffs are going to be pretty interesting because they have 3 divisions, right? So you're going to have a 16 playoff
Yep.
rotational, right? So you've got 3 division winners, 3 best record, uh, and then they'll be kind of sorting that out, right? And so it should be a very interesting schedule. The other thing to note about the AF1 is that they announced about these 2 additional teams that they're going to be bringing on. Well, those teams have been put on hold until the 2026 season because then they're gonna realign everything, make it a little bit easier. But one of the teams is Monterey, right? So that's going to be an international team, which could mean the
Which
expansion of.
we're kind of talking like I think when they first announced the Monterey team, like man, I think it's too soon to kind of go international with this.
Mhm.
And apparently the league agreed. So for whatever reason, they're putting them on hold for 1 year.
Yeah. And I think that that's probably the best decision right now. Like,
Oh
let's
yeah,
establish gameplay. Let's establish, where they're going to be, some of the rivalries. Let's get rosters set and everything first before we even talk about expansion, right? So it looks like they, kind of cooled their enthusiasm a little bit and are approaching things a little bit more from a business standpoint than a dreamer standpoint. So it should be really good. Okay. So I'm super excited about that. But now we can talk about Corpus Christi football again because they
yep,
finally found a home. So I'm super excited there. Meanwhile, the IFL or the the IFL schedule rather has come out,
yeah.
and there's going to be some tough teams that they're going to be playing there. Of course, everything is kind of up in the air, right? With the Gunslingers, getting rid of what's his name, Castronova,
Casanova.
or I shouldn't say getting rid of him, but letting him go. And then the potential 2 new quarterbacks that they're bringing on, plus some of the other restructuring they're doing around the team. So, are they going to be a better team this year, or is it going to be reshuffling of the cards and the same old, same old? I'd have
We'll
to believe
see.
Coach Menace. Well, I was going to say I'd have to believe Coach Menace is focused on quality and
Yeah.
getting more wins this year. So I think that's why he's kind of done the shakeup and trying to bring in some bigger, better, younger talent so this team can be more competitive and actually make a playoff run because there's no reason why they couldn't have before.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm looking at the schedule. Um, I like it's kind of spaced out a little better this year for us. We're actually playing on opening weekend. I know last year we didn't have a game, and then we had a bye week 2. So basically, we had 2 bye weeks in a row, and then there was one more like towards the end of the year. We got a bye week on week 3, week 7, and week 15. So it kind of kind of spaces them out a little bit better.
Mhm.
And so I think that's the benefit of, to the benefit of the team. Just,
Yep.
kind of let them stretch out the bye weeks a little bit.
Yep. And I do like the fact that 3 of the last 4 games of the season are all home games for the Gunslingers. So that should
Yep.
make it a lot easier for people to go, right? Elsewhere in the National Arena League, it looks like we've got Beaumont and Amarillo. And looking at some of the schedules and stuff, which again, the NAL still shows Corpus Christi as one of the teams. But they're obviously not there. So this should be interesting to see how the NAL kind of pans out because, again, prior to this, I mean, it was basically a completely different league when the Gunslingers were there 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and now everything has completely changed. All the faces are different. All the names have changed, and it's like, okay, well, who are these guys? And like Omaha Beef, for example, came from the AIF, if I remember correctly. Um, so like bunch of shakeup. So this is like completely new league. Same name, different faces. It's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out and how some of these teams do. Now, obviously, I'm not going to Amarillo or Shreveport or Beaumont or any of these other things to watch these games. So I do hope that the NAL continues to cover these games on Facebook or YouTube rather, and
Yeah.
we get to watch some of them. Right? I don't want to try and go through the NAL's website because we know how getting stats from the website was last year. But anyways, tons of Texas football going on, right? And that doesn't even count the fun stuff going on with the Brahmas, right? We know there was this big shakeup about us sending Dormady over to DC, if I remember correctly, and getting that tackle from them.
Linebacker.
Was it linebacker? There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We
I
got,
think
yeah,
that's great.
we,
I
yeah,
think that's
got, went to Memphis and we got a linebacker
or Memphis.
from
I'm
them.
sorry.
Yeah.
But that's good for us because we can always use good solid defensive people, and it's good for Memphis also because they need a quality quarterback, and Dormady is a
You
pretty
know,
quality quarterback.
Oh yeah, Q is a good quarterback. I know he didn't start the season as our starter. A lot of people thought he was when it was him and he who shall not be named uh, competing for that spot. But obviously, Q came in for good 4 or 5 games for us, and I mean, solid player, just real quality quarterback. So I'm happy for him, happy for Memphis. They got a hell of a quarterback. So
He who shall not be named
yep,
equals garbage can emoji.
yep.
So I do know though that well, first and foremost, we talked about some of the stuff on Horns Forward podcast last night. Some of the rumors and speculation about why some things were done, why St. Louis gets 2 home games when we should have gotten 1, and it comes down to simple economics, right? There was no place that San Antonio could have played in San Antonio that would have been able to have the infrastructure that's needed to put on a UFL game. And they certainly didn't want to play in like San Marcos or Austin or something like that because it's San Antonio's team. And so I respect them for doing that. And I'm sure there was also, a little bit of added extra bonus putting that second game in St. Louis because the St. Louis fans do show up. They buy lots of tickets.
When their team's involved, but
Do what?
well, I mean, they'll buy tickets, but they won't show up if their team's not involved. We found
Oh
that
yeah,
out.
yeah. But
But
that's in the
and
playoffs.
I like so honestly, if you didn't watch the show, go back to Horn Forward podcast, watch the episode, really good. And he kind of Evan gave us a kind of an in depth answer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us said, yeah, Alamo Stadium, a lot of the high school stadiums around here wouldn't work. Main reason because they don't serve beer in the stadiums, and I like to drink beer when I'm watching a football game. 80% of the
True.
city does. And yeah, like the concessions and stuff, a lot of that just doesn't make sense. But I didn't even think about you've got you're going to have a nationally broadcasted game you've got to have the infrastructure, the ability of where you're going to put the cameras at a, Alamo Stadium. The cameras for an ESPN or a Fox game. You've got the medical staff. You know, if a player gets hurt, you've got to have the proper facilities to be able to care for that player. You know, I mean, how many times have we seen, you know, a player get hurt and an ambulance have to come onto the field to take him away, or you know, a cart or something? Like, you've got to have emergency services more than what a high school stadium will offer. And a lot of that stuff, I don't think people thought about. It was just, well, we have this empty stadium, we should play there, and didn't give it any more thought than that. So I really liked how Evan explained it, and I encourage you to go watch his answer. Don't just hear what I'm saying. He said, go watch what he said for yourself.
Yeah, it was a very solid answer to the question. So in that same vein of UFL news, I posted a link to the story on our Facebook page. You're definitely going to want to give that a read also, because it kind of breaks down the NFL cuts to the UFL pipeline, guys coming back, right? Uh, it's a really good explanation about how the UFL teams have exclusive rights to these NFL players that did not get signed and stuff, first rights, if you will, and how that process works out. Like, what NFL teams are assigned to each UFL team, and how they're basically going to be able to go through and kind of get, prime pick, and then they're able to pick from others and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a really great article. I encourage all of you guys to go and read it, get a little bit more familiar with the whole allocation process, and how all that talent that didn't get picked up by the NFL is going to somehow get placed into the UFL. And wow, I'm not even going to touch that comment. We're just going to go ahead and move on. We were going to talk a little bit about high school football playoffs, because I didn't even realize it, man. We're actually in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah, it was week one of the playoffs. Just kind of some of the highlights. Steele won, Bernie won, Brennan won.
Canyon, New Braunfels Canyon won.
Yeah.
Piper I remember won. What I wanted. Yes, I know what I wanted to look at.
And I think, yeah, you had East Central won, New Braunfels destroyed John Jay, and then Sotomayor won. So, kind of some of the bigger names around the city. There weren't any upsets this week. All the teams you thought would win did.
Yeah. And I've been checked out because I've been so focused on everything else. So congrats to all those local teams that have moved on to the next round of the playoffs. We wish you all well. I'll try and pay attention this week, but we'll see how that goes. We know how Jason does. Also, guys, don't forget hashtag Hope for Hope. Right, start the movement. We talked to Evan about it last night. You guys love that game. I'm assuming, because that's all I've heard. But you love the game that Milton Hope announced, which was the Birmingham game. He was able to motivate the crowd, get them all working together. Probably one of the most cohesive games I think I could say for the Brahmas games that we've been to and everything. So if you want that continued energy, start the hashtag Hope for Hope. The fans or the league is listening. The league is paying attention to the things that you guys are posting and saying and everything. So if you want that kind of energy on every home game, let's get Milton Hope in that announcing booth, and let's really take advantage of that home field advantage. So shameless plug. I don't care. Not ashamed at all. What I didn't want to forget about. Yes. What I didn't want to forget about, though, was Texas Lutheran, because we haven't been talking about them nearly enough, and they're only right up the street in Seguin. They had one heck of a game this weekend. They played Southwestern Texas and actually won in overtime. And that is huge for Southwest Texas, because now they're going on to the playoffs the NCAA Division III second round of playoffs rather, but they've got to go all the way to Oregon to play their game.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally they play their game on Saturday, they win, and it's like, oh crap, now we got to go to Oregon. Like there was no notification really. And I don't know how they could have done it any better. I don't think that they could have. But yeah, so Coach Tom, man, thoughts and prayers for you and your family as you guys are gonna have to make that lovely, lovely road trip to beautiful Linfield. No, I'm sorry, McMinnville, Oregon, wherever that might be. Uh, but have fun because you're going to be crossing a bunch of winter storms, bro. Just be
Yeah.
careful.
Oregon's a beautiful place. I drove through it one time going up to Canada a few years ago. The entire
Canada,
drive,
eh?
no rain the entire drive through New Mexico, Colorado, Wisconsin, Utah. As soon as we cross the Oregon border, rain. So
Yep. Why would you go through Wisconsin?
not Wisconsin. What's the other? What is the free? What's the state right above Colorado?
Idaho?
No, Idaho.
That's true, but
No, what is it?
uh,
Dang it!
well, Montana?
No, not
I don't
Montana.
remember
It's
my U.S. geography. Hang
Colorado,
on, U.S. map.
Wyoming.
Um,
That's what it is.
why? Yeah, Idaho's
Yeah,
to the left of Wyoming. I'm sorry,
yeah.
and
No,
Montana's
yeah,
above
yeah.
Wyoming.
We went. Yeah, so we went like Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Colorado.
I can
But
see that.
yeah, no, Wyoming is the most boring state I've ever driven through in my entire life. So
Have you been through Illinois?
no, I have not.
Just wait then. Oh, if we have to make that a what is up, brother Rig? What is
Hey,
up? Man, if we got to go to Michigan this year, we're going through Illinois and you're gonna see some boring. It is bad. It is bad, bro. Anyways, so yeah, thoughts of well wishes for you guys, coach. Drive safe, look out for the ice and snow. I know you're a native born Texan. Well, actually he's not. He's from where the hell from Indiana. So he may
yeah, but
still have
he's
it in his
been here
blood. Who
long
knows?
enough that all his ability to drive in the cold has gone away. So, oh, that's great.
Let's
That's great
go,
to hear,
baby.
Rig. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So for folks who maybe don't know, Rig has been going back and forth between Florida and Houston, taking care of Mama Rig and everybody, being a great son that he is. So mad props to you, my friend. Um, Speaking of mad props, I think it's about time we give Jay his mad props, don't you think?
For what?
Because
What'd you do to deserve some mad props?
I crushed your boy Mike G in fantasy football.
Because that curb stomping you gave old XFL Mike G, huh?
Yep. Yep.
And that
How
was
was that, Mike?
brutal.
Yeah, wasn't Mike talking last week about how he was going to win and everything was awesome and all that good stuff, and that didn't work out so well, did it?
No, not
So,
at all. What 34-point win?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I took a 26-point win in mine. So
nice, nice.
I went
And
three
so,
and one
how,
this I went 3-1 this week. So you know what, Rig? We already talked about it. You just go back and watch the beginning of the show. All right. I don't want to think about it anymore. All right.
Texans did good, Cowboys did not so good. There, that's the recap.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I was 3-1. I would have been 4-0 if not for Nico Collins' last catch that he made. If he didn't make that catch, I
Oh,
win my other game. So
oh,
I
that
was
would have been
annoyed.
brutal. So I wound up winning all three of my games. One is just, no holes barred. Uh, I played that's the one that me and Coach Tom are in. I wound up winning 193 to 127. in my money league. I wound up winning by about 4.5 points. And that one's good for me because I finally broke 500, right? And then in our AFN fantasy league, I of course curb stomped Mike G like the Texans did the Cowboys, and he was what is this right here? What is this nonsense? Yeah,
I don't know.
but you
He's
didn't.
talking about old games. I don't know
Yeah,
why you're bringing up old
yeah,
games.
because the record is 1-1, which means we're back to square one. So ain't nobody beat nobody. And look, Rig still loves you. That's awesome. Oh,
Man, and the only reason you freaking won in our money
she
league.
changing the subject.
Yeah, why you change the subject, Mike? Only reason you won in our money league is because Ferguson got hurt like after one catch. And I'm
That ain't
bitter
my
about
problem.
that. I'm bitter about that because now we're tied, and you have the tiebreaker on me by points by like 30 points. So
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So it looks like Rig is going to be showing up at a Jacksonville
oh nice.
game.
I
Poor
Rig,
guy.
I might be heading over to you guys in mid-December. Probably gonna get tickets to go see the Miami Texans game. Since the wife is a big Dolphins fan, so
That would be interesting.
yeah.
That would be a fun game to go hang out with them at, for sure. Not that I'm going to go. I mean, you know, if Green Bay makes their way back down here again, he's cursing out the autocorrect. Anyways, so yeah, clean sweep for me, which is
That
amazing.
that that
Um,
ducking autocorrect always
that
gets.
ducking autocorrect. But again, some great football coming up this weekend. Some good college games. And Rig said, if you do wind up going over there, let him know. Uh, that would be man, that's making me a little jealous. I'd love to go to that game just to hang out and see you guys jaw jacking with each other. But I think that's pretty much all we've got as far as football updates and everything. So that being the case, Brian, I think we've pretty much gone for a full hour. You got anything else you want to?
Um, I mean, I think a newer tradition, I guess, is I've been ending the episode with a suck it. So this week I'm gonna say suck it, Jera. Would you fire your coach, fire yourself as GM?
Yeah, and I'm going to posthumously give a suck it for AJ to the Battlehawks.
Well,
So
that's right. We didn't talk about that at all.
yeah, we did. We kind of glazed over it a little bit. Lots of speculation going on there, but everybody's kind of thinking that AJ is going to wind up here. And somebody actually did bring up an interesting point. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was somebody I was having a pretty good back and forth conversation with. If Phillips decided to go with a 1-2 quarterback, rotating quarterback combo, um, with Mond and McCarron, that actually might not be a bad idea.
Nope.
Now that I know you say no, but hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. Uh, McCarron definitely has experience, and it would be good veteran experience for Mon to see from a professional quarterback standpoint. Because while he was on a squad, he never actually. I think he played in one game and threw like 3 passes or something like that. Uh, and Mike G's right. I would like to hear St. Louis's side also, because all we're hearing right now is McCarron. And
Yeah.
Rig, you're probably not wrong because what a lot of people are saying, um, more so than him going to the Brahmas, is that they believe that McCarron will wind up in a USFL team because realistically, he's not going to have a shot here, right? We pretty much got our quarterbacks lined up who we're going to be going with. There's still speculation about Perez, so he could potentially wind up in Arlington. But I think I don't know what the latest update is on Tamu, if he's going to be coming back to DC or not. But the rest of us, we're good, right?
Like
St. Louis.
I wouldn't mind getting AJ, but the only reason is because I know it would piss off St. Louis fans, and I would love that so much.
That would
I
be
mean,
nice.
he wants to play, so I'm happy. I'm happy that we have Mon. Absolutely, I wouldn't trade him, but yeah, I would just want AJ just to piss off the St. Louis fans. Um, yeah, that's it. That's the only
Yep.
reason why.
I don't disagree, but I think honestly, especially now, uh, there there is speculation because Magoo got cut by the Packers and didn't wind up anywhere. So could he be coming back? Is he going to wind up with Birmingham again? Who is Michigan going to go with? Right? Who is Houston going to go with?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like Houston's essentially revamping the whole damn team. So could they make a play for AJ? That's probably a more realistic landing spot for him than some of these other ones that are suggested. Now, if he does, that could potentially spell danger for the USFL. Now, I think, I mean, we played him, we got him covered. Um, but and Rig is 100% right. Wherever he goes, his veteran presence would be great for an understudy to learn the game and learn how to be that field general that AJ is, minus some of the off-field antics and some of the things that he's done. But then, I mean, the same thing could be said about some of the greats just throughout football history, right?
Yeah.
Um, so wherever he lands, I hope he lands well. I hope he gets a chance to continue playing if he so desires to continue playing and plays at a high level. I don't want to see him go out there and be like another Aaron Rodgers and just taking up field space. So
So
hopefully,
speaking of that, real quick, I know we're past our time, but during the show, I got a little notification on my phone from Bleacher Report. So the Jets owner wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers after the Week 4 loss to the Broncos because he felt that Rodgers' performance was holding the team back. So
wow,
I thought that was a nice little nugget that you'd be interested to hear.
I would love that. I would love that. So, and real quick, Brandon Silvers, nobody knows because we haven't heard any updates that I know of. But he could potentially be coming back also. I mean, who knows? But real quick, I want to shout out for XFL Mike G. He does have a poll running on his X feed, and just kind of pulling your opinion, see where you think AJ McCarron might wind up, whether it's a USFL team or the Brahmas or the Defenders. Again, I really don't think he's going to wind up with the Brahmas. I think we're good. I think the Defenders are good as well. So I really think best bet it's going to be Houston. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm pretty comfortable. If I were to put money on that, I would be comfortable with that bet. So, anyways, I think it's about time we go ahead and start shutting things down. So,
Yep.
give a shout out to everybody first and foremost. Thank you, fans. Right, this is episode 88 in the books. 88 episodes here. 12 away from that magic 100th episode, and we couldn't do it without you guys and all of you putting up with us week in and week out, letting us talk our nonsense with football. Kenneth, look, Silver's got his realty license, so he's actually probably making real money now. So, and he's not having to get beat up for it either. So chances are he's
Are
probably
you
not
saying
coming
he's
back.
he's making realty money? Boom. I'll see myself out.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead and get going. Anyways, fans, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you guys do. Oh, he checked himself out. What a dirt bag. Oh, and then he's back. We want to shout out to XFL Mike G and Alternative Football Network. Thank you guys so much for everything you do to support the show here. We also want to give a shout out to our sister show, or brother show, or however these things work. I don't know. It's 2024. I don't understand logistics anymore. But Horns Forward Podcast, thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do for us. We do for you. We all do together. Just one big happy family. We also want to shout out to Bobby Otten and Pro Arena Talk, all the indoor football information, specifically that Bobby gives us. But thank you guys all for everything that you do. Also, shout out to our friends at the Fuel Network and all those crazy guys over there, and our sponsor, W Energy Drink. And we're actually, I'm working slowly on trying to find another one that I think is definitely fitting for our show, but I don't want to announce anything because they just haven't responded to my emails yet. So until they do, I can't really say anything. But I think you know who it is.
I think I
And
do.
it would be perfect for this show.
I think I do.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Episode 88 in the books. As we get closer to the UFL kickoff weekend, you're going to start seeing more stuff from the UFL. You're going to start seeing some more stuff from Alternative Football Network and all the different shows. Oh, by the way, shout out to Brahma Bulletin and God, there's so many other ones. Everybody that's involved in podcast wise with the Alternative Football Network. There may be something big brewing there. So, guys, keep your eyes focused on that. That's all I'm going to say right now. And but it should be wonderful if we can pull it off. It should be wonderful. But in the meantime, thank you so much. Watch some football. Go out and have some fun this weekend. And go Pack, go baby, and horns forward. Nothing,
Later,
Brian.
guys.
You're not going to go Cowboys. I'll see myself out.